All right. Welcome to this first video, folks. Fellow students, fellow teachers, fellow peers. I'm really excited to bring you this day one of this TLDR of Life course. So, what does this mean? We're about to embark on a new journey that I don't know where the ending is going to be, but I'm looking forward to taking this first step together. And today is going to be that first step. So what does this first step, this first section, this first phase, this first day, first lesson look like? So before we start any journey, and what I've really been doing for the last few months, the last couple of years, whenever I start something new, whether it's a project, a day, a year, whatever it is, I always want to establish why I'm going there, or what I'm aiming towards. What do I want to achieve? Right? In one word, this is an intention. Right? I think we throw around the word intention kind of loosely sometimes, but today we are going to be setting our intentions for this course. What do you want out of this course? What do I want out of this course? Why are you here? What are my intentions? And so to give a quick little backstory here, even before I've come in and started recording this video, I did a quick, it's called a segment intending, right? I intended on this specific segment of my day, this specific segment of my evening, right? This video is going to be amazing. I set an intention that I'm going to be speaking well, and at the end of it, I hope that at least one person takes the action of which I want, which is setting the intentions. And so I did an intention for this specific video, which is about setting intentions. So it's an intention inception. But so like before we begin the actual content of the course, and I would say this is also part of the content of the course, right? Whenever you embark on something, setting that intention is very important. Why we're going on this journey. And so I kind of view intentions as, I think one of the other reasons that intentions work, for me, at least in my life, and if you haven't tried it, I would highly encourage you to. I mean, this is why you're here, right? This is, you want to try something new, see what this guy is trying to say, whatever it is, right? So I kind of view intentions as you're asking questions at the beginning of something. And when you ask questions at the beginning of something, then later on, when something appears, when something happens in your life, an event happens, or a coincidence happens, when you set those intentions, those questions you ask at the beginning, when those events happen, those answers will appear right there. Jim Quick, in his book, or in his teachings and his courses, he always says, ask questions before you read a chapter, so that your mind's already thinking. And when you read something, you're already looking for the answer. When you cross something, you'll know that the answer is there. It'll pop out to you because in your mind you're already asking those questions. So that's kind of how I think about intentions. And so before we kind of go in here, for you writing your intentions, I want to do a couple of things. First, let's do a quick visualization exercise. And then second, I will share, since I'm a student along with you in this journey, in this course, I'm going to share my intentions, right? So the first one, let's close our eyes. Let's take a couple of deep breaths. And sink into your seat, wherever you're sitting or standing. And just imagine 1 day from now, 1 week from now, you looking at your piece of paper, your notepad, notebook, Evernote, Note, Notion, Roam, Microsoft Word, whether you write it physically or digitally. Just imagine looking at your intentions and saying and feeling, wow, I'm looking forward to embarking on this journey. I'm looking forward to achieving all these intentions and lots more. Just write down, have that feeling of writing down these things, typing out these intentions. And the feeling at the end. With that amazing feeling of, wow, I'm really looking forward to achieving all these intentions, achieving all these goals that I aspire to be and to do. Okay, you can open your eyes now. You didn't think you'd be doing a visualization meditation on the first day, did you? Okay, so now that you've intended on writing your intentions, right, before you get to writing your own, I kind of want to share what my intentions are. And if you've been following my blog and have subscribed to my blog through my website, you'll get email notifications every time I post. But on my blog, I've already kind of written these out, right? And so you can see, this is my actual, this side. And the second page, I've written out my intentions. And so after writing these out, I typed them into a blog, which you'll see here. This was a couple days ago. And you can see it on my website, right? It's kind of in this format. It's a little bit of text heavy. But here I've typed it out, and this is Notion, by the way. Again, this is the first page that I created in Notion with a new account, sai@saivasan.com. And so I'm building this with you, right? And so I typed it out physically, and now I'm going to, I wrote it out physically, and then now I typed it out as my first page in Notion, right? I'm building this from scratch right with you if you want to make it digital, right? So I asked, what do I want out of this TLDR of Life course? Why am I here? What are my intentions? And so obviously with me kind of leading this, I have intentions as a teacher, as a student, etc. So I'm just kind of mixing them in. So, I want even more clarity in my day-to-day, right? And so I guess before I go in, right, it's, you're probably not going to have any idea of what, this course is going to entail. I don't either. I mean, I have a general idea, obviously, but, so just write whatever you feel like it, right? And so this is whatever I felt like writing in that moment. And I was leading with my feeling, leading with my intuition. And so I wrote, I want even more clarity in my day-to-day. I want a system that relieves stress rather than create and perpetuate it, right? Falling behind on something, like within the system, is going to be totally okay. I want that intention, right? Or if I don't use the system for a day or two, I'm not like this massive boulder on my shoulder that's just weighing me down, right? I don't want that. Even if you fall behind, don't do it for a few days. It's okay, you can catch back up, right? Without feeling so overwhelmed and stressed. Right, so the other next intention here is this course is going to be weeks, months, who knows, maybe years long, right? Because I have the intention of only putting out a video every week to really instill that this is a process, not a destination measured by how fast that you get there. That it's really about the depth at which you go, right? And so I'm setting that intention that I'm not doing it for the speed, I'm not doing it for the money, I'm not doing it for the followers. I'm doing it to build my own life operating system, and I want to share it with you, right? I'm building a system for my life OS, like I just said, right? You know, some of these are intentions, some of these are just thoughts, so just roll with me here. So just like what I'm trying to do for work with what I'm building on the 2U operating system and general organizational operating system, right? This kind of goes hand in hand, and I'm taking some things from there. I'm taking some things from Life OS and bringing it to work, etc. So it's kind of a fluid dynamic here, right? Another intention is for me to be a teacher and to show that you can teach and learn at the same time, right? Then we have this notion as a teacher of the teacher has to know everything, and the teacher has to teach the student. It's a one-way learning. Teaching, actually, I believe that, you learn when you teach, right? To teach is to learn twice, like I said in the trailer. It's a learning process. And so I'm learning about teaching. I'm learning through the teaching, and I'm learning as the student as well. And so I'm trying to show you that I can teach and learn at the same time. I want to show, another intention is to show my building of the life operating system from scratch and in real time, not afterwards. So example, this is a great example where I'm building it from scratch. I have 0 pages here in Notion. Okay, I have another one, but don't pay attention to that. But, this is essentially the first page that I'm showing you, right? Nothing else is built. And I want to show you that journey, page by page, step by step. And so I want to show people that it takes time and energy to reflect deeply on many things. That, like I said, it's going to be a week-long process for just this step. It can take you, 5 minutes maybe. It may take you 2 hours over the course of a week, right? But it really, I am looking for, and I want to do myself, right? Something that takes time and energy and to reflect deeply on something, right? I just didn't write a few, I didn't write a few bullet points or whatever in here, right? I went deep. These bullet points are just, the first section of this entire paragraph that I wrote. And so, I wrote a couple of pages of intentions, right? So intentions sometimes in courses can be, just a 5-minute, 10-minute process. But for me, I took the time and energy to reflect deeply on that and make it an hour-long process. Another intention of mine is to become a better communicator through audio, through video. This is my first time doing this, so I'm going to be learning along the way of becoming a better communicator on camera. Different video skills, my intention is to learn, right? I haven't streamed before, I haven't recorded videos like this before, with kind of semi-scripted, right? As well as the editing process. I'm trying to limit the editing right now, but another intention is my interaction with other content creators who are in this overall genre of course creation, of productivity, of life balance, of happiness, like all these things, right? And so I want to become integrated into that community. I want to have empathy for what it takes to be a student while I'm teaching. I think I mentioned this point earlier. I want to tell people that I not only taught a course, but I was literally a student of the course while I was teaching it. And there's proof and documentation of it. Right? They can go see on YouTube. Maybe you're watching this 3-4 years later, and this is the beginning of the journey of the TLDR of life. So welcome. So I want to do something that's never been done before. I don't think anyone has been a teacher and a student at the same time, so literally, right? I think figuratively everyone is, but literally, I don't think so. And so I'm excited to do that. And if it has been done before, prove me wrong, put it in the comments or links or whatever. I want to gain even more life balance and have it built into my DNA, my thoughts, my habits, etc. I want to build a life operating system that takes into account literally everything that I've learned in the past few years, so I can show how much better life can be with a defined operating system. And not just talking about it, but really showing it, right? In my podcast, was going through, I think, 18 episode series of my PsyOS, right? You can only listen to it, you can only hear it. This is the next evolution of that. As I'm building my V2 of the life operating system of my PsyOS, I'm showing that entire process and not just talking about it, but you can see building it from scratch, how it looks like, how it feels like. I want to inspire others to build one of their own as well, right? Hopefully you are inspired, are becoming inspired to build your own life operating system. That another thing here is, like, you don't need to have everything figured out before you start on a journey, right? I think we always have this conception of, all right, I'm going to, like, I got to get everything set up. I got to do all the pre-work, etc. And then my big launch to the world, my big launch socially, like whatever it is, right? We got to do all the work. We got to prepare properly. It's like, no, sometimes you just ship it out. Sometimes you just have to take that first step you need that push. You need that push from, and sometimes someone's not going to give it to you. Sometimes you have to push yourself, right? And you may not have everything you want to have figured out, but sometimes you'll figure out more things just when you take that first step. So don't wait to implement something like this, right? Like, oh, when I have time, I'll do something like life operating system. No. Right. Dive deep in. Dive headfirst in, right, into this journey. An intention for this is, maybe this will become another source of income for me, another source of revenue, in addition to my current job, right? Maybe this will become a career and I can build business out of this, whatever it is, right? I don't know the future, but I think this is an intention that I'm putting out there. I want to build a system that can naturally integrate things into it, because all structures and process of the system are defined, but when you have new things, sometimes they may take a little bit of time to get integrated, but I want to have it, seamless integration when I bring in new ideas and new concepts and new pages and new databases. Very simple here, but I want to start realizing more of my potential. I think I'm only starting to realize that. And not in a realization of understanding realization, but a potential energy, kinetic energy type of realization. Right? I think this is not intention, but this is just a note that I think 2020, 2021 was kind of me more understanding what my potential can be and to lay the foundation for the rest of my life. But 2022 is going to be the first year that I lean all the way in to start realizing that potential. Unplugged Side Budgets, which is my YouTube channel that I launched in November, December 2018, kind of made me comfortable with posting on YouTube and publishing things to the world. The website and the rest of the content that I started was for me to get accustomed to kind of creating this content and really putting it out there. And then using Notion and building a life operating system, the version 1 of it, was for me to get into that mindset of a systems thinker, of a systems implementer. Right? And then the growth at 2U and Laundry Lab over the last couple of years is for me to kind of blur the lines between business and personal life. There's no real work-life balance. It's just all life balance, in my opinion. Right? And getting used to that. I can do work at 7 a.m. I can do work at 7 p.m. I can work out at noon. Right? Obviously with some limitations, of course, with some constraints, but it's all one life, and let's intentionally lead it. Another intention is to being good with spending days at a time just focused on myself and doing things aligned with my vision, right? Like planning, working on the system, working on myself, journaling, reading, spending days at a time, like my quarterly planning, right? If I have a system for that, if I build it into this life operating system, I want to be good with spending days at a time doing things like that, right? I want to start providing value not only by showing who I am, but through the ideas I can share with the world. Right? So like so far, a lot of my content has been about who I am, how I think, what I'm thinking about, what I'm doing. But this, I think this is kind of my foray into how am I providing value for others more explicitly, more tangibly. And this course is me sharing my mind, my thoughts, and my ideas in a more straightforward manner. And so I think I want to start providing more of that, and this is my first experience with that. I want to become even more comfortable being in a public spotlight with what I say and what I do, right? And so right now, there's not too many eyes when I post this, right? But maybe years down the road, you're watching this, and you'll see me have more followers, more people who are listening to what I have to say, right? And so I want to be comfortable. I want to start that journey of becoming more comfortable by what I say and what I do. I want to hold another intention is to hold myself accountable to the things that I want to do. I want to inspire others to rediscover life balance and eternal happiness on the journey to realizing my and your full potential, right? And so, I think that statement is obviously very close to the tagline for this course, as well as my mission, which we will get to at some point. But, I think, these to inspire others, really, And I really started thinking about inspiration when actually, I think about 2 years ago, when the late, great Kobe Bryant passed away. And, one of his things was always about inspiring others, right? It's good enough that you can, live a great life, live a fulfilled life on your own, but to inspire others, to have lived is to have, what's the quote by Ralph Waldo Emerson about, to have changed one's life, something with breath. I'm very badly butchering it right now, but, to really inspire others. And so, that's really why I'm doing this course. These are my intentions for the course as a teacher and a student. So now that you've understood my intentions for the course, right, I want to be as transparent as possible. I'm a student going along this journey with you. All right, now it's your turn. All right, you can't escape this. You can't escape just like, hey, watching the video and then going back to your life, right? No, this is an involved process. This is an involved experience that if you're going to be watching this video, you got to be writing these intentions down. You got to be typing these intentions out. You got to be doing the visualization exercise that I did with you. Unless you're driving or commuting and you need to have your eyes open, fine. But come back and do that exercise, and then, continue with this, right? This is an involved experience, right? I'm taking the time and energy to write out my own intentions as the student, right? I'm telling you now as the instructor, as the coach, you have to do these exercises. And if you don't, that's fine, right? There's no repercussions, but hopefully you will see the value in it. So activity, if you didn't guess it by now, is to write down your intentions, whether it's physically like I did, digitally, which I did and transferred to, or any other place, but get those intentions from outside your mind and from your heart and from your gut. Get those all outside of you onto something that you can see physically. Maybe you want to do it in a presentation format. Great. Maybe Google Sheets for whatever reason, or Google Docs, or Notion, wherever you want to write something out. Maybe you want to write with your iPad pen, right? Whatever it is. Just get them outside of you. Get them from inside of you to outside of you, right? And please take time to do this, right? The next video is not going to be released for another week, right? And so there's no rush here. Take time, maybe, and let's say you spend 20 minutes thinking about it and writing some things out. It's not something that's set in stone, right? Maybe you think of something 2 days later in the shower. After you hop out of the shower, just add to that list of intentions, right? And even as you progress through the course, add to these intentions, because you're asking those questions. And when you ask more questions, more answers will appear and better questions will appear, right? So set those intentions, go deep. And if you even want, do on your own a quick intention setting exercise of, at the end of this 20 minutes, I'm going to have an amazing set of intentions that I've written out, and I'm going to keep adding to it, and I'm going to achieve them. So that is the first lesson. I know that was long, but I want to go deep into all of these videos, right? Like I said, hopefully I'm not just talking the talk, but I'm walking the walk here. So please set your intentions for what you want out of this course, and why you're here. So hopefully put it in the comments below, some of your intentions, and I want to see that engagement. I'm looking forward to you being involved in this experience with me, and I will see you next time.